But first, TV presenter Naomi Robson is in hot water in Indonesia. She was arrested in the troubled province of West Papua after being caught with an illegal visa.
The rumours are flying. Naomi Robson is reportedly in an Indonesian jail cell or been deported or some other made-up story. Tonight, the real story. Where she is, what she's doing and the dirty tricks that put the safety of Naomi and 4 other Australians at risk.
But how can you get the real story from Today Tonight or A Current Affair? Hello and welcome to Media Watch. I'm Monica Attard. It all began with this sensational and dubious tale on Nine's 60 Minutes.
The last of the cannibals.
They eat everything except the teeth, the hair and the nails.
It's the adventure of a lifetime.
I want to try and find the evidence that they actually do eat people.
Deep in the New Guinea jungle.
Look at that, look at this.
Discovering a fascinating lost tribe. Their very first contact with civilization.
No, their very first contact with Australia's tabloid television. Whether the Korowai are still cannibals is also in dispute. But 60 Minutes sent a Current Affairs Ben Fordham and freelance journalist and Lost Tribe enthusiast Paul Raphael into deepest, darkest West Papua for an old-fashioned cannibal freak show. Along the way, they found Wawa.
And then, for me, the most chilling moment of our journey. We find a little boy looking scared and confused. At 6 years of age, Wawa has been condemned to death, all because his mum and dad died suddenly.
According to 60 Minutes, Wawa is destined for a ritual killing and eating because the villagers believe he's an evil witch.
Wawa's uncle has brought him to this village to try to save him from the Kakwa killers.
Oh, they've got their eye on him, and that kid, any time in the next 10 years, he's got to be really careful because they could get him and then they will kill him and they'll eat him.
But Fordham and Raphael left poor Wawa to his fate, and 60 Minutes showed Raphael more concerned with preserving the local culture than saving the little boy.
OK, we don't understand that they kill and eat each other, but to them that's very important, at the very soul of their being. So my feeling, my desperate feeling, is that just let them be as they are, because within 20 or 30 years it'll be all over anyway.
Cold comfort for Wawa, who's due for dinner in less than 10 years. But poor Raphael was worried, and he set about trying to convince 60 Minutes that the boy had to be rescued. He wrote to 60 Minutes executive producer John Westacott, urging him to send a crew back to get him out.
Dear John, I wonder if you've decided to do anything about Wawa. Best regards, Paul.
We understand Mr. Raphael suggested an entire story scenario. Take Wawa to Jayapura, set him up in school, buy him clothes and then take him to an ice cream parlour where Nine can film the sad little boy smiling at last. Nine and Ben Fordham would be heroes. When Nine said no, Paul Raphael went to their rivals and Seven said yes.
In recent days, the Nine network has been putting up all sorts of reasons why they wouldn't return and save him. Cultural differences, one of them. They are all lies. This is the email 60 Minutes executive producer John Westacott wrote to Paul Raphael at 12:33pm on August the 7th, 2006. At the moment, the simple story of a rescue of Wawa is a bit short of the huge production cost. In other words, it was too costly. The program, with a budget in the many millions of dollars, didn't want to spend the money to save a child's life.
Nine certainly look heartless, but according to this email from 60 Minutes, money wasn't their only concern.
They've decided a 60 Minutes-led rescue of Wawa is too fraught with difficulties, mainly the ongoing responsibility of what happens to him after taking him away from his relatives and natural environment at such a young age. Personally, I think he's probably safe for the next few years till he gets to 14 or 15. Then he's better able to decide himself if he wants to try to get out via Cornelius.
Rescuing Wawa would be a big commitment, but there was more at stake here than a little boy's life. It's been a bad year for Today Tonight's Naomi Robson. She's endured negative profiles, claims that she consorted with unsavoury types, rumours of her make-up Winnebago at Beaconsfield, and, lest we forget, that khaki shirt.
Naomi Robson has become the centre of controversy after appearing just 24 hours after Steve Irwin's death outside Australia Zoo wearing an Irwin-style khaki outfit, complete with a live lizard on her shoulder. Robson has not been void of controversy throughout her career, not least with the release of 2 damaging blooper tapes. In one, she is caught swearing 9 times in 15 seconds, calling the Today Tonight audience stupid and laughing at fat people.
So the prospect of rescuing Naomi by sending her off on a mercy mission must have been irresistible, only it backfired.
Channel 7 crew told to leave Indonesia.
Saved from cannibals, eaten alive by Naomi.
Poor Naomi, she just can't put a foot right. 7 knew who to blame.
Our crew flew into a setup, a dangerous, tense and extremely delicate situation. So, who set us up and why?
The Indonesian embassy says the tip-off about Naomi and crew entering Indonesia on tourist visas didn't come directly from anyone at Nine, but we can understand why 7 is suspicious. They pointed the finger at Nine's Ben Fordham.
Fordham has spent the past 2 days spinning tall tales to anyone silly enough to listen to him. Fordham, who lives in Sydney, even made a special trip to Melbourne's International Airport at the weekend, yelling out in a threatening manner to our team in the airport as they headed off to save Wawa that he knew where they were going and their flight details.
Ben Fordham denies the shouting match ever happened. He says he went to Melbourne with his girlfriend and that they bumped into Naomi's crew at the airport.
Let's not beat around the bush. I can tell you that newspaper journalists have informed me in the last hour that Channel 7 people have been saying that off the record it was me who tipped off Indonesian authorities. That never happened. And if you believe that, you believe in Alice in Wonderland. It just did not happen.
Some of 7's other claims against Fordham were even harder to believe.
Fordham didn't stop there. He contacted our guide Cornelius, the same guide 60 Minutes used. Cornelius says Fordham offered him $100,000 not to save the boy.
A $100,000 bribe to an Indonesian guide. Well, it's not the bribe that we find incredible, it's the amount. And when we contacted Cornelius, he told us that Fordham didn't offer him any money at all.
No, he has not offered me money. He didn't tell me to do anything. He just asked me, am I working with the other TV, when they will arrive.
The next evening, Today Tonight withdrew the claim, but they still say that Nine tried to stymie their rescue and convince Paul Raphael to abandon Channel 7 and come and rescue Wawa with Nine.
Ben said that from this meeting the decision was that if I agreed to this, then I should name my price, whatever I wanted.
But what about poor Wawa? Peter Meakin says 7 will apply for proper visas to get back into West Papua and that Wawa remains now, as before, uppermost in 7's thoughts.
The head of 7's News and Public Affairs, Peter Meakin, said his crew had secured a team of locals to help Wawa.
Or whatever his name is.
Not everyone's happy about 7 attempting a rescue. Child Fund Australia has warned both networks against using Wawa in their ratings war.
We would advocate the use of specialist agencies in such a scenario, with extensive experience in child protection issues and familiarity with the communities and cultural traditions within West Papua.
Using specialist agencies to rescue Wawa. Well, we doubt that 9 or 7 will be interested if there's no role for TV stars. Both networks have been shifting ground as attention moved from Wawa to their behaviour. On Sunday night, 9's 60 Minutes reran their original story with a new ending.
But Wawa's family and friends are determined to protect him. He's been brought here to safety to this village, a long way from the Kakua killers. And our guide Cornelius has taken him under his wing. How old do the villagers wait until they would kill this boy?
It could be like starting from 15 years old, 16 years old.
So at least he's safe for now.
Well, that's funny because back in May, 60 Minutes told us the Kakwa killers could come and get Wawa at any time.
Oh, they've got their eye on him, and that kid, any time in the next 10 years, he's got to be really careful because they could get him and then they will kill him and they'll eat him.
This is a pretty tough place. What are the chances that he'll survive?
I would say pretty small.
But now 60 Minutes says they're doing Wawa a favour by leaving him where he is.
The villagers assured us this was the best place for him, that Wawa would never be able to cope if he was suddenly taken out of the Stone Age and dropped into the 21st century. When he's a bit older, he can decide for himself whether to leave his people.
Nine's decision to leave the boy with his family sounds responsible. But according to Paul Raphael, it was only last week that Nine begged him to bring the Wawa rescue to them.
Channel 9 wants me to do a documentary on the Korowai, including the rescue of Wawa. Ben tells me the fear is that TT would report that 60 Minutes had left Wawa to his tragic fate after using him, and that Naomi had gone in and rescued him. He says they know that would stain 60 Minutes' reputation. He then says Hurley wants to meet me and that I'm to name your price.
But Channel 9's David Hurley and Ben Fordham say they never offered a Rescue Wawa documentary, which brings us back to our story.
The central character in this story is not Naomi Robson or television crews. It's this little boy, Wawa.
That's a lie. The central characters are 7 and 9, and the story is the length that they'll go to in their ratings war. Neither gives a hoot about Wawa. Until next week, good night.